Hello. If you could find an hour a week to set aside in your diary, so you actually do it, and you devoted that hour a week to working on your business, you wouldn't have to do an awful lot of, it wouldn't be that difficult to double your bottom line profit. I'll show you how it could work. So you start by understanding your numbers. So if you know your price, say, was 200 and you've got 100 customers who buy 10 times a year off you, then that would tell you your revenue was 200,000. If you knew that the cost of whatever it is you sell is 100, so you're making a 50% margin on what you sell or 100% markup, they're not the same thing, then you'd know that your gross profit was half of your revenue, which is 100,000. You'll have some other overheads, rent, rates, wages, salaries, etc. So take those off and it'll tell you your operating profit, or sometimes known as your net profit, of 50,000. Now, I've asterisked three things here, and the reason I've asterisked them is because in your hour a week, if you could think of an idea each week in that hour that you could implement that would make a small improvement in one of those three numbers. So what could you do to increase your average price slightly? And it doesn't have to be just put your price up. It could be all sorts of things like having different packages, bundling in extra value, setting out different segments of your customer base or client base so that you can sell different propositions to them. There's lots of ways you can do it. Again, getting more customers. Well, again, could you define your ideal customer better? Could you have systems in place to track what's called the buyer's journey? Could you have a systemized sales funnel so you close more leads? So could you generate and convert more leads? And could you get customers, clients, to buy from you slightly more often? So if you could get them to buy slightly more frequently by having special offers, by communicating with them, by booking them in for the next meeting when you see them the previous time. Now, all of those areas, what I've done is I've said, well, if you could make a 10% improvement in each of those three numbers over the course of 6 months to a year. Now, think about it, 3 lots of 10%. It's only about, what, 0.5% a week. So in an hour a week, could you think of something that would affect one of those three numbers that you could actually implement that could make less than a 1% a week improvement? Now, I'm sure you could do a lot better than that. And obviously you could probably spend more than an hour a week. But even if you achieve that, if you work your numbers through, you'd have 10% higher price and 10% more customers and a 10% more frequency that they buy from you. And those three small improvements would take your revenue up to 266,000. So a third increase in your revenue. Your variable costs won't change. We're not doing anything with our costs. We could do, but we're not. But our gross profit will go up by nearly 50%. Our overheads, we're just going to assume we can't do anything with them. Although, again, if we looked at them, we probably could. But our operating profit would go from 50,000 to 95,000. It would go up. It's nearly doubled. It's gone up by 90%. And I've been very conservative here. So realistically, you could look to double your profit by finding that hour a week just to implement some of these strategies. So then you're thinking, well, what are these strategies? Well, if you're interested, I'm running a webinar on Zoom on Friday, the 10th of Feb. So a week tomorrow at 12 o'clock. If anyone would like to attend, then just let me know and I'll send you the login details. And if you want more sort of training videos to give you some other ideas, go to bernardkeevy.com. So there you go. Find an hour a week, implement some simple strategies, make less than a 1% improvement a week in one of your key areas, more like 0.5%, and you could realistically double your bottom line profit in 6 to 12 months. Hope you found that interesting. Thanks very much for watching.